Hi, I'm Jim Bergeron, pastor at Holy Cross Lutheran Church in Houston, Texas, and this is the sermon for the fourth Sunday of Lent in the A series to be preached on March 15th, 26, from John 9, Blinded by the Light. The disciples, eager puppies, good students all, say, "Okay, Jesus, here's a test case." Their little organization kind of looks like a rabbinical school, so they're kind of pretending to be fledgling lawyers without having taken their LSAT, much less a bar exam. Why's that beggar blind? Did he sin or did his parents? It's a case of attempting to infer backwards from a problem to its probable cause. How do you know the world? Where does meaning coalesce and emerge? Is there a one-to-one ratio between sin and suffering? And can I head off future pain at the pass by enhanced, hyper-effective religious transactions in the present? Those are technically epistemological questions. They're from theology and philosophy, and they ask, how do we know things? How do we perceive and understand our universe? How do we affect changes in it? Now, lazy thinking will settle on the first tenuously related contingency or event, just prior to the observed effect that you either like or don't like. If one is not obvious, then a person is free to superstitiously make up any cause to trigger the effect. The game was close, and the coach sent in his best pitcher. The pitcher wound up like a coiled rattlesnake and unleashed a 97-mile-per-hour fastball. The batter swung before it hit the pitcher's hand. The ball met the bat with a satisfying crack. The ball sailed into the outfield bleachers. The homer hit a loyal fan in the head. The concussion blinded the fan. Was he blinded by the ball or the bat? Did the batter or the pitcher blind him? Maybe it was the coach or the franchise owner who hired the coach that put in the pitcher that threw the ball that the batter hit. Yeah, my money is on the catcher who signaled for a fastball on that play. The disciples asked, the man's blind. So who committed the sin that caused the problem? And one way we make sense of the universe is through noting the relationship of behaviors and outcomes, crime and punishment, cause and effect. It's kind of the way we figure out the world. We organize it causally. The map corresponds to the territory often enough to be at least minimally useful. It's kind of like a topographical map of a mountain that you're going to hike on. You pick it up at the Forest Service before the hike. You can read it and see, based on the elevations, the closeness of lines on the map, the distances, about how long it's going to take you to walk a mile. But you're clueless as to the underbrush and the boulder fields and the bears and mountain animals, mountain lions. So in reality, you're partially blind. But you think you can see because you have a rudimentary map, but there's more in the beautiful randomness that's out there that can't be mapped. You can't make grace happen with a neat formula. You can't blame particular bad things on particularly specific sins. But someone's hurt, so someone must have sinned. What did you do to make that bad thing happen in your life? I mean, Job's friends just love to ask that dumb and tedious question. Jesus discounts this kind of lazy logic. Blaming the victim won't wash. That person is already hurting. You want to kick him too, huh? Suffering's to be met with compassion, not judgment. The disciples are asking Jesus to teach epistemology. How do we know the world? How do things happen? Color the code the causes will avoid the effects. Why is the beggar blind? Did he drink too much canned heat or under the sink cleaning product? Or did his mother have a disease caused by bad behavior? Those are moralistic questions based on ugly assumptions. Jesus is operating out of healing grace, not divine punishment. He makes a mud poultice out of spit and clay dust. Kind of reminds you of the creation story there. He smears it on the blind man's eyes and tells him to wash up in a pool named Scent. I'm guessing that it was kind of uncomfortable for the blind man at first, at least, until he washed the dirt out of his eye sockets. And now he can see. Immediately, things get complicated. He's interrogated about his miracle of sight. His neighbors turn him in to the authorities for being able to see. They're not sure it's even him. They never really looked at him too close when he was blind. Didn't want to stare, you know. Why not? At that time, he couldn't look back. The religious authorities haul him into court. They have no evidence against him, so they go after Jesus for breaking the Sabbath. Of course, they did have Jesus on 3 counts of first degree, aggravated, willfully and maliciously breaking the Sabbath. Number 1, he made a mud ointment. No practicing pharmacy on the Sabbath. Number 2, he picked it up, put it somewhere else. No farming or plowing on the Sabbath. Even moving a chair across a dirt floor is prohibited because it's technically plowing. Number 3, he used it for healing purposes. No doctoring on the Sabbath. The beggar can only say, I don't know. I just got here. Funny thing is, I can see now. The religious court said, you weren't really blind. Subpoena the parents. They don't know anything, except that, well, yeah, he was blind. Now it looks like he can see, and they say, talk to him. We don't want to get involved. And they might be a little upset because it was common then to blind a child and then live off that beggarly income. Now, somebody else in the family is going to have to get a job. The court brings him back for a second round of abuse. A sinner like Jesus can't make a blind man see. The blind man says, all I know is I was blind, now I see. Just the facts. Looks clear to the court, and they explain carefully sinners can't teach, sinners can't pray, sinners can't heal, and sinners can't forgive. The court appears to be blindly indicting itself as a sinner. I don't know. Pay attention here. Every judgment we make is a judgment of our own condition. You are cheating, says the cheater. You stole, says the thief. Funny how you notice that, says the person who's no longer blind. The man formerly blind refuses to cave in to the pressure applied to him. Great journalist H.L. Mencken said in the 1920s that if, quote, the right pressure were applied, congressmen would be cheerfully in favor of polygamy, astrology, or cannibalism, unquote. 2 out of 3 ain't bad, huh? He also said the urge to save is almost always a false front for the urge to rule. Remember that when you watch the news. The ex-blind beggar was on solid ground, speaking only from his experience. He hadn't actually even seen Jesus yet. He was blind, but he probably will never forget the voice, whoever it was that healed him. It worked. He is now a grateful disciple. He will worship this mystery. He questions the court. Would you like to worship him with me? The ex-blind beggar took the offensive. He refused to answer questions. He asked questions instead, which is contempt of court. Why do you want to know? You want to be his disciples too? Pharisees, blinded by the light, kick him out of the temple for good. Of course, he was never allowed in there before because he was blind, so he's not really going to be missing a whole lot. Jesus came to heal the world, not condemn it. You know, we may say, I'm okay, I'm fine. Relationships, health, and finances, secure enough. Business as usual. I don't need to bother Jesus with healing right now. Maybe not. The John Central teaching reaches out. Losing your sight's a tragic thing. But far worse is having healthy eyes and being spiritually sightless. The twin themes of this chapter are a play on physical blindness and spiritual blindness. Jesus finds this man twice and cares for him twice, once in his blindness and once again in his sightedness. Jesus' care is always ongoing. The man is loyal to the one who healed him and will worship him even under duress. Perhaps his new vision will always give him more trouble than his old comfortable blindness. But the gift opened to him God's strange and wonderful and mysterious surprises. It's a funny story. Every time the court says, we know this or that, they get farther from the truth. And every time the beggar says, I don't know, he gets closer to the truth. Every time physical blindness is spotlighted, spiritual blindness is lifted up. It's a twin condition, a twin theme, an even more oppressing way to live. It crescendos to the final question of the Pharisaic opponents. Are we also blind? Let me think. Perhaps we all are. Sometimes it's hard to see with our hearts. Business as usual is distracting, and it blinds us. It's not that we're bad. We are inattentive or unresponsive. We miss the richness of joy surrounding us. But like the healed blind man, we follow the God which we haven't seen, but we know his voice. And we know he has loved, saved, awakened, and healed us for service. So, here's mud in your eye. Go wash up and see. Amen.